it's been fun to watch your Instagram and like all the like just the joy and positivity you're putting out along with all the fucking badass bass videos you've been putting up. So it's been cool to see.
Thank you, man. That's it's kind of my creative release
Yeah.
right now. You know, I just get up there and it's very freeing to be able to just put whatever I want up there. And I think as far as positive vibes and I'm not there's so much negativity going on at the moment that I don't want to add to it. And I make it a point to work at being positive. It is work sometimes, but
Yeah.
it feels a lot better.
It's good though. I mean, it's like you're almost programming yourself to be positive too while putting positivity out into the world. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's
Right.
good.
Well, and you know, especially with how popular social media is, and how I guess somewhat of a virus itself. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
different things trend and different things spread. So hopefully, I can spread a little bit of inspiration and positivity out there.
Yeah, well, it's been good for me to see, and like damn near every day, I either see on my feed you or in the Discover page. There's like 3 or 4 of you just cranking out.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, it's
Oh,
been
cool.
cool, man. It's been especially in like the last couple of weeks. You've been popping up there a lot. It's good to see.
Cool.
I saw you just
Hey, I need one of those buttons, the
yeah.
applause
We'll
button
work
for
on
sound
that.
effect. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get that going
Okay.
soon. Uh, and then what? Tell me about this this new project you just put a song out, right?
Yeah.
Did I just see that?
Well, we did an EP,
Yeah,
and then we just dropped another song the other day, but Zenith Divine.
yeah,
So it's like I briefly mentioned, you know, this last year has been so crazy for all of us. No touring, and touring
yeah,
is obviously my job.
yeah,
So being home has been quite a change for me. It's been wonderful and amazing, you know, being able to spend time with the family. But
yeah,
on a work level, it's been kind of frightening.
yeah,
So I've been trying to stay as busy as possible, whether it's trying to do sessions from home or write or whatever. But anyway, I did you know, one of the bass videos,
yeah,
and this guy on Instagram from another band in Brooklyn. I had we'd gone back and forth, I think, on Instagram a few times. But he's a
yeah.
guitar player and a singer, and he sends me a message saying, "Dude, can I write to this?" And I didn't really think about it too much because some other stuff was going on. And then I finally sent him the track,
Yeah.
and he sent back this badass funk jam with which is kind of the vibe that I was going for.
Yeah.
So a few months later, now we have 15 songs. I have a whole record ready to go. It's
Really?
just sitting waiting to be released. Yeah,
That's so cool. That's one of those like
a couple videos and everything.
yeah. That's awesome, dude. That's so cool to see like again going back to that the Instagram like positivity and then you just putting stuff out just to be creative and get get that out in the world that it led to some cool connection that you otherwise might not have had.
Yeah, and I like how sort of organic and spontaneous that situation was because sometimes when things get a little contrived, it feels like it, and I think it
Yeah.
might hinder some of the creative process and the hang. But I still never met the dude, so we have a full album of stuff,
Wow.
and yeah,
That's
so it's pretty
crazy.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's so cool. Have you guys like talked on the phone or like Zoom or is it just like
we we usually go back and forth email.
wow.
So, but we did FaceTime once.
That's so interesting.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
I mean, got a cool record. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, dude, I'd love to hear it. I was listening to the one you put up the other day. It's fun. It's cool, like just funky, fun stuff to listen to. So
Yeah,
that's
good vibes.
that's awesome. Where where did music get started for you? Like, was it always something that was around? Was it in the house? Were your family into it, or like where did that
Yeah,
come from for
def-
you?
uh, well, my family, a lot of them are musicians. My grandfather played every instrument
Oh wow.
really that there is, and my parents both played. Um, my grandfather had instruments lying around the house all over, the pianos, drums, bass, guitar,
Oh wow.
horns, and reed instruments. But he had a Dixieland band that would play after work, and they would come over and do all night jam sessions. And I lived with my grandparents.
Oh, sick.
So he bought me a little drum set. I think it was a little Ludwig kit, and let me jam along with them.
Oh,
So
cool.
that is how I learned to keep time.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the one thing that my grandfather said was, as long as you don't bang on any of the instruments, you can play them all day. I'm not going to tell you to turn down. I'm not going to do anything, but you got to treat them with respect.
Yeah.
So, him and my mom encouraging me to sort of experiment and just play.
Yeah.
Really fed my hunger.
Yeah.
And it really was a great, it was inspiring to have them say, yes, do this. And then music was always around.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man,
But
that's so cool that you got to play with your granddad. Like, that's such a cool connection and relationship that not a lot of people, like very few people, get to have with their family, you know? And the fact that you got to start on drums,
yeah,
like, explains so much about your bass playing.
Well, I hope so. That it's such a close relationship. But with my grandfather, I'm glad that I took advantage of hanging with him and learning from him, because in certain situations, you can sort of take for granted those moments, even if they don't seem large or how they're going to affect you down the line. They actually really do.
Right.
So I'm very glad that I could take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's a great point to make too, because a lot of times as a child, you're not aware of how unique a situation might be, or how to sort of take it in and participate in it in a way that like a lot of people might overlook that, and later on in their life kind of be like, oh man, I wish I had taken that a little more seriously, or really jumped into it a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I'm happy that I did not see that as a chore, and that really helped accelerate my learning and my eagerness to play.
Yeah. So what age did you pick up bass then?
I think I was around 11 or 12.
Oh, wow.
And we moved into an apartment, so I couldn't play drums anymore.
Right.
So my grandfather had, I think it was a Gibson Ripper lying around.
Oh, those are sick.
And dude, the action was like off the neck. It had some flat ones on it, but it was like that far off. So I'm like little hands trying to push them down. But I finally got my mom. We didn't have a lot of money, so my mom bought me a shorter scale bass. Yeah. And it was a Hyundai, like the car.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they made instruments. But
dude, me either.
My first bass was a Hyundai. So I learned on that.
Wow. And then how long after you start learning bass do you start playing in bands?
My sister and I have a twin sister. So we had a few little bands. She's a singer. She plays guitar, but we had a few little bands growing up. I was probably 13, 14 when we started writing and doing our first gig at some little bar. They paid us $200, which was really cool.
Yeah.
We didn't know any covers. So we learned probably 20 covers in 2 weeks.
Really?
Which I'm sure we weren't very good, but that's okay. It was cool.
Yeah.
But we played a lot of different places. And then from then I started finding different musicians around LA. Brooks Wackerman was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's an amazing drummer.
Yeah.
We ended up being in Suicidal and Infectious together.
Yeah.
But now I think he plays with Avenged Sevenfold. So he's
really?
Phenomenal, genius drummer. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But his band, he had a band, and my band, I had like a funk band.
Yeah.
And with a horn section and everything. I was really into Fishbone and weapon of choice and all
Yeah.
those things. So we would play around LA, like Malibu and stuff like that. Brooks' band would play. And I was a teenager,
Yeah.
14, 15. And then he got in Infectious Grooves, and they were going to do Suicidal Tendencies again, but Robert Trujillo left to play with Ozzy. So
Yeah.
they needed a bass player. So Brooks recommended me, and I was 17 or 18 at the time.
Holy shit.
And joined the band.
That's wild.
That is the condensed, summarized version of
yeah.
how I started.
Damn. So you basically go from being in a band with your sister and maybe some other little things here and there to being in Suicidal Tendencies at like 18 years old.
Yes.
What kind of a crazy transition was that like for you?
Well, I didn't.
Did you recognize at the moment?
No, I didn't. I knew the band because I grew up in Venice, and I knew listening to Infectious, and Robert was one of my favorite bass players. But it's probably a good thing that I didn't even realize what was going on at the time.
Yeah.
I just was playing bass. I was just playing bass.
Yeah.
That was it. But looking
too
back,
young to like really know the moment.
Such a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That works in your favor sometimes. You're too like, I mean, for lack of a better word, like too dumb to like to let it get
totally
too big.
Was.
You know? Yeah. That's amazing.
And
dude.
I think that sort of helped curb the anxiety and fear that, goes along with all that stuff, especially as a kid, especially just never touring, joining this legendary band.
Right.
And as bass player in that band, you're like the lead guitar player. So you're always out in front. And then
Yeah.
I had to fill Robert's shoes, which are large shoes to fill.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. But I'm grateful for all of that time.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
That's so cool, dude. And you mentioned Robert being like an influence on you. Who are some of your other influences coming up as a bass player?
Oh man, there's so many. Jaco Pastorius, Bootsy Collins, I love. Flea, I love.
Yeah.
Pino Palladino.
One of my favorites. Yeah. That guy's amazing.
Melodic lines, and he's awesome.
Yeah. It's just one of the best. Are there any I'm always fascinated about this, talking to musicians like yourself. Like, are you aware of, or are there any like up and comer, like younger bass players you're seeing coming up? Like, oh shit, like
there are a million of them. Have you seen this kid, Aaron?
Aaron?
I think his Instagram page is Aaron the bassist. He's got to be like 11 or 12.
Really?
But it's unbelievable. Watching it, I'm like, this has got to be fake.
Yeah.
But I guess he's really playing.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't.
He's like
someone that
good pocket player, right? He's not like shred, but like.
No, but he can shred, but his pocket is like crazy.
I've seen that kid. I was.
He lays so
away.
far back. You don't just. He just has it in him. He's an old soul. He's gonna do very well. Yeah. He's awesome.
I love seeing that shit. You go on Instagram now, and it's like, if you're a musician, you can scroll through the Discover page and like want to just burn all your shit in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm out. Like
every day, I do it at least 3 times.
Not you, man. The one word that always comes up when I think of your bass playing, or like you as a bass player, is just a monster. That's like the one thing that comes to mind. It's like, well,
thank you.
You want a monster, you call JP. So,
oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's the truth. So you go from Suicidal and then Infectious Grooves too, right? You play with them a bit?
Yeah.
You go from them to Daughtry. How does that was there any bands in between there, or was that sort of how it went for you?
Yeah, there were. Let's see, I played with Kelly Osbourne.
Oh, nice.
I played with Everlast. Yeah, I played with Samantha Ronson, the Veronicas. So I did a bunch of gigs and sessions in between, and finally ended up meeting up with Chris and joining Daughtry. I think it was 2006.
Okay.
So yeah.
What was that transition like? You kind of you went from sort of the the suicidal world to a little bit more, I guess pop maybe is not quite the right word for like Kelly Osbourne, but it was sort of more,
It's poppy.
yeah,
Yeah.
poppy. Going from that world to that to, and then sort of to the Daughtry world. Was there a, I don't want to say learning curve, but was there a learning curve for you going into that, or is it just
Uh,
like fuck, let's do it?
Mostly, yeah, it was mostly let's do it. Luckily, doing all those other things, I sort of able to just fit in a little bit wherever I kind of
Yeah,
was led. So, and going back to my grandfather and my mom, making sure that I appreciated and respected all genres and styles of music.
sure.
It was, it was, you can prefer something, but if you don't understand the rest of it, then I think that it's going to hinder you as a musician.
Sure.
So I think that really helped me sort of adapt in different situations.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, for a lot of young musicians, I would include myself in this. When I was first starting out, you sort of get locked into like this one thing, and it can
Yeah.
sort of overtake it and really hinder your growth as a musician and growth ultimately as a person. Honestly, I'm still a metalhead. Was a giant metalhead in high school, and that was like,
You're an awesome guitar player, dude, by the
thanks.
way.
I I I don't flaunt that or talk about playing guitar so much, because you come from Nashville. It's like, no, I don't play guitar. Everybody out there is a killer. But I went from like at this moment in high school realizing, oh, like I'm really hindering myself by only you know doing this one thing, and then you start to branch out from there, and you see yourself grow as a musician, and ultimately it helps you as a songwriter, as a producer, as just in any aspect of music. So that's a good thing that you mentioned for younger kids and even producers to hear, is like, you got to take it all
Well,
in.
I think that you can take from all of those different things. I mean, a country song or a country artist
Oh yeah.
or style, and take your favorite things from all of that and apply it to your playing. And really, that's how you find your voice.
Yeah.
You can take whatever you. That's a beautiful, beautiful. That's the beauty of music. It's so universal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so much of it. There's just this realm of melody and rhythm, and so
Yeah.
much of it you can just swallow.
Yeah. And arguably there's no wrong way to do it, right? I mean, there's stuff that categorically you just like, oh, maybe this just isn't for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's no wrong way to do it. So
Well,
you can experiment.
that's one of the reasons why I say sometimes some of the bass videos that I do, just play, man. And with younger kids too, that I'll give lessons once in a while. You really never know what you like and what you want to do unless you experiment. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad that no one was really stern with me, saying, no, you have to do it this way. You've got to do it this way. Because how am I supposed to find out who I am or what I can do? Or look at Les Claypool. I mean,
Right.
it's like, I'm pretty sure that a traditional bass player is going to say, what in the fuck are you doing?
Right. Yeah.
Excuse my language, but
No, man. Let her rip.
And that's what makes it so cool.
Yeah. It's always those guys that just come in and like, Les is like a human cartoon character in a way. Like, there's just these guys that come and they pull from everything, and then they sort of redefine the way you think about the instrument or music in general. Like, I think about guys like, Eddie Van Halen was like a massive Cream fan. Like, love Clapton, and then all this other shit, and he just throws it all in this blender and then rams it through a Marshall, and you're like, well, holy fuck, what's going on here? Like, the first time I heard Van Halen, like, my head exploded in the back of my dad's truck. Like, he played, I think the first thing I heard was Mean Street, and I was like,
oh, nice.
sitting in the back, I'm like, what is this? My dad's like, that's a guitar. It's like, what? You know, it's those guys that
I
come
mean, you
along
can
and
take
just
it.
redefine it, your perception. Sorry to interrupt.
You can even go a little further back. No, that's okay. I did. Hendrix.
Oh,
What?
yeah. Dude.
Still,
Oh,
you listen
man.
to Hendrix, or at least I do. I'm like, wow.
The expressiveness that guy had and his ability to just connect chords in this way that you felt like it was a piece of him. You know,
Yep,
like those people,
exactly.
it's like it's an extension of their vocabulary in a way of like, I'm expressing myself not only like for Hendrix through his lyrics and his, you know, crazy solos and stuff, but also the way he would tie stuff together. And I mean, those are the guys that you always look back at of like, that was an extension of who they were, you know, like
Yep,
Eddie falls into that for me too.
I agree.
Excuse me. Yeah. I love hearing stories of like people with, on tour with Eddie, like he'd come out of the bathroom and he'd have his guitar on, you know, like he takes a piss. He'd like take a piss with his guitar or, you know, like he's just like, that's just always noodle. So,
Dude, I got to meet Eddie when I was a little kid.
no.
One time, and he gave me a guitar pick, and he was so cool. He was just cool. And I remember thinking, I got to go to the Video Awards in 1985 with
Wow.
Don Henley, and Eddie was sitting right behind me.
Yeah.
And you know, I was probably 8 years old at the time, but he leaned up to me behind me, reached around and gave me a guitar pick. And I thought that was so cool. And I looked back and I was like, that dude's a rock star. I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So it was
shit.
really cool. Yeah.
I'm not, hold on. Don't just gloss over the fact that you were like, how old? 6, 8 years old, and you're at the video.
I was 8.
You're 8 and you're with Don Henley. Roll it back. Explain how you get there.
Yeah. Okay, so I did a music video when I was a little kid with Don Henley, Boys of Summer.
That's you.
So I was a little kid playing drums. Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that.
That's my claim. That is my claim to fame.
Despite screw all the bass stuff, I played drums in a Don Henley video. That's wild.
I was that dude. Yeah.
That's a fun little tidbit I was not aware of. Man, that actually warms my heart to hear Eddie was a cool dude. He just gave a kid a guitar pick. I actually just saw this video yesterday. It's a tangent, but it's related. It was on Instagram of Dweezil Zappa was talking about when he was playing in like a school like talent show, and it was like him and his buddies. I think he said he was like around 10, and they were playing "Running with the Devil," and Eddie Van Halen came to the sound check.
Wow.
And he was like, he wasn't really fully aware like the gravity of the situation either, because he's a kid and you know, he kind of famous dad. So, but he said his guitar wasn't staying in tune and he kept playing one of the chords wrong. And Eddie just came up after and he's like, "Hey man," actually no, Eddie leaves, goes home, brings him back a guitar with a Floyd Rose that will stay in tune. Puts the guitar on him, goes, "Hey man, you're playing one of the chords wrong." And he comes up behind him with it on him and counts it off to the band, and the band starts playing, and he plays "Running with the Devil" for him to show him how to play it. And then they play the show, and Dweezil's like calls him to give him the guitar back. He's like, "No man, that's yours. You keep it." Like,
how cool is that?
That's the coolest shit ever. That's just, I love that.
And Dweezil remembers that forever.
Forever.
You know,
yeah.
Those are those moments.
He still has the guitar, you know? That's
great.
I just love that shit. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah, man.
I love hearing that kind of stuff when the people that you look up to are like just good people, you know? There's nothing worse than finding out somebody you look up to is a dick.
Which has happened.
Yeah.
Well, sure, it happens every day.
Yeah, it does happen. But I've been lucky in my career. The cool people that I've met, I mean, everyone's been very nice. I'm having a hard time even racking my brain now thinking of people that I'm like, I wouldn't want to work with them again. I mean, been really lucky. I want
We
to.
all have good days and bad days.
Yeah, yeah, you can for sure have that. I'm sure there's people that are out there like, oh, that guy's a dick thinking about me, but
Me too. I'm actually fairly certain, but you know,
well,
if I've offended you in any way, I apologize.
yeah,
I'm changing my ways.
yeah, and I'll probably do it again. So
Yeah.
I wanted to switch gears here a little bit and kind of get your perspective on what I'm sort of calling the home recording sort of revolution that seems to be sort of going on, especially in the last year with everyone being stuck at home. And I mean, if you went on Sweetwater, you couldn't get an SM7 to save your life because everybody was buying shit to record at home. I feel
Yeah.
like the way we make records is changing. It's pretty drastically, and especially the last 5 years. It's like, and I mean, even some studios are dying. What is your what's your perspective on this? Because I think there's good and bad things on it, but I'm interested to talk
Well,
to a musician
it
about
de-
it.
yeah, it depends on um I guess the place that you're looking from. Like as a studio owner, I
Sure.
mean, pissed.
Yeah.
Everybody's pissed.
Not good.
You're losing money, and I could see that point of view of people saying, "Oh, they don't know what they're doing. That's not real recording." But you know, times are changing, and technology has advanced so far, and still is that you can make good sounding recordings just from your bedroom
Yeah.
at home. I'm not technologically advanced by any means or a fantastic engineer. I can record some stuff and come up with some cool ideas and make it sound decent
Mm-hmm.
and leave the rest to the pros. But as far as creating, I can do that very well here at the house. So I applaud people getting into make anything and their art and putting it out there. It's so easy to get it out to the world too. And I don't think that there's an oversaturation. I think that that is a point of view that's out there as well.
Yeah.
But I say, hey, create, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Express yourself. I mean, there are far worse ways that people can be doing that. This is a positive.
Yeah.
You're making music, you're making art.
Right.
So don't go out and shoot people. Make some music, man.
Yeah. I think that's a fresh perspective that I really that I happen to share. A lot of people, especially sort of thinking back to the Nashville music scene, at least on my side of the glass, you sort of would get complaints of like, well, everyone's fucking moving here to be an engineer. It's like,
Right.
there's
Same as a musician. I
right.
heard when I got here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's healthy. You need competition. You want to be good, you got to go fucking slog your way through all the other people that are good too. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best or learn from the best. And same goes for, if you're making records, if you're somebody like me who's got a small project studio trying to make a name for themselves, mixing and producing and engineering, it's like you can't fight the system where, guys like yourself who are very good at what they do and can make a record at home, like that's a positive thing. That's more stuff out in the world. That's
Yeah.
more opportunity for you to help somebody. Maybe it's not, we don't make a record from start to finish, just us for an example, but maybe, hey man,
Yeah.
I need help with this. Yeah, this is how you do it, and we can all learn from each other and help and create more. And it's just like you said, it puts more positivity out in the world, and it's helping,
Well, it, as much as people, let me say, some people might want to reject this notion.
Mm-hmm.
It's a community, we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing things on different levels, and some people measure their success in different ways. But we're all doing the same thing. And I really just have love for everybody working and being creative.
Yeah. That's I think that's something good that I wish more people I wish more people had that perspective on things, because I've experienced it where, you know, people might try to, you know, push you down a little bit because they're trying to protect their job or you know, whatever
Yeah.
insecurities that they have. But it's a good thing, you know, and I learn all the time from, you know, a lot of engineers have this like holier than thou, I know more than you, like perspective when it comes to musicians or even other engineers sending them tracks, you know, like I've been in the back of the room when guys open a mix session and I'm like, what the fuck are these idiots doing? You know, and it's like, I've said it too, but then, you know, you get in and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this was actually a really cool thing. Or you're trying to recreate something that they did and you're like, been smashing your head into the wall for 4 hours and you're like, all right, I'm just going to call him. Like,
Yeah.
What'd you guys do?
It depends. It depends on how you're listening to something. If you're, you know, if you're listening to a track with the sole purpose of nitpicking or picking out something you don't like,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to listening to it as a whole and just taking it in for a second
Yeah.
to appreciate what it is and then figure out whatever the purpose of you maybe reviewing a mix or that's a whole different story. But
Sure.
I think initially you have to figure out, just take it in for a second.
Yeah. Just take a step back.
You know?
Take yourself out of it for a second.
Yeah.
Well, I want to switch to a couple more rapid fire questions here, if that's okay here.
All right. Let me get some coffee for this.
Yeah, get yourself some. I'm going to take a sip of what's left of my coffee. I think you might be the one. Well, you're one of the people that definitely drinks more coffee than I do, but
yeah,
I'm up there.
It's not whiskey anymore, so that's a little better for me. I think
definitely, definitely better. All right. Call, text, or FaceTime. What do you prefer?
I don't have a preference.
Oh,
any and all.
I like it. That's a unique one.
Yeah.
You're the first. Usually everyone's like, text.
Yeah, there's not one that I dislike.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will admit
I really don't have a preference. Yeah.
I sometimes, depending on my mood or what I'm in, if somebody calls me after I've texted them a question and they call me, I'm like, But favorite bad action movie of the 80s or 90s?
Oh my gosh. Oh, Lethal Weapon.
Fuck yeah.
I celebrate that catalog for sure.
Me too. I'm a big Lethal Weapon fan. 1 through 4. I'll watch them.
Yeah.
Watch them all.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dream car.
Ooh. Man, I'm pretty simple. So I dig I guess like a Land Rover is cool.
Okay. Particular.
Yeah, I like SUVs. I like the new Bronco too.
Ooh.
The souped up one is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm not like Teslas are cool too, but I'm not like a Ferrari guy or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. You can miss me with the high performance sports stuff. I did see one of the new Broncos about 2 weeks ago out on the freeway and was like, ooh.
They look very cool.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. P bass or jazz bass?
Oh gosh. Jazz bass with a P pickup. Let's split them.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I like it. I like the jazz neck.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
What was the last album you listened front to back?
Oh, Tyler, the Creator. What is that last thing he did? Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have it right here. Hold on one second, buddy. Yep. Well, it'll come. There we go. The Igor album.
The which one?
Igor.
Tyler,
the Creator. Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
I got to check that out because you're the second person that's mentioned Tyler, the Creator. So
he's creative, man. He's out there. It's cool.
That's fun. So since I'm calling this podcast, One More for Safety, which you've heard a million times if you've recorded. This is sort of the one more for safety question. Sort of bring it all around here. Trying to think, which one do I want to go? I'm going to go with this one. Had a couple options. I'm like, what do I want to go with?
Okay.
What do you want your headstone to read?
Ooh, that's a good one. Give
I
me
know
a second.
it's a tough one. It's
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's on the surface it doesn't seem quite as deep.
Yeah, father, loyal husband, and respectful human being. I think that's all I need.
Yeah. Well, you check all those boxes as far as I'm concerned. So
I appreciate that, man.
I'm really glad that we got to do this, man. I know we kind of went back and forth and trying to get a date and all that, but
also you were teaching me how to set up all this groovy stuff here.
Yeah, man, it looks good.
I told you I am not very tech savvy, so
nah, you got it. You're dangerous enough. That's all that matters, you know. So it was awesome to see you. Awesome to talk to you. Let the people know
Good
Instagram,
to see you too, my brother.
Instagram handle, what you got coming up, anything fun you want to promote or anything. Just throw it out there.
Okay. It's Josh Paul on Instagram and Facebook, and on Twitter, it's The Real Josh Paul. And I am going to put out the Zenith Divine album, the full thing. So look out for that. There's an Instagram for Zenith Divine as well. So cool. If you could follow that.
Yeah, I'll put the link in. Too. I'll put the link in that. And whenever you get ready to release it, let me know. I'll blast it out so we can.
Will do.
Get as much people on that as possible. But
cool, man.
I'm really glad we got to do this, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Me too, dude. Later.
See you, buddy.